Good mythical morning, everyone. It is the notorious, glorious V, the Gorilla Economist, with my main man, El Cuco, aka the producer extraordinaire, CJ. And we're bringing the news, the views, and all the information important to you. So check us out, roguenews.com. Follow us on Twitter at Real Rogue News. And then Rogue News on every single podcasting app known to humanity. We're pretty much everywhere you want us to be, plus a bag of chips. And of course, you're on YouTube. So make sure you hit the subscribe and the thumbs up button. We know that every little bit helps. Every little bit helps, and you help this channel to grow because doing this completely audio and whatnot is very difficult and it doesn't trend well. But we're doing great when we could be doing a lot better if you keep supporting us. I want to thank all of you for your support. And with that also being said, in terms of support, guys, go check out mycbdedibles.com if you want the best tasting CBD edibles as well as the wonderful vapes. Go there. Go to mycbdedibles.com. Get yourself one of their delicious products, whether it's mints, whether it's doggy treats or coffee, whether it's chocolate truffles or the almond truffles, whatever the heck it is, go there and check it out. You're going to love it. With that being said, also check out become a frontline gorilla. Become a frontline gorilla. If you've missed it, go to the Patreon, become a member, and join the Gorilla's official Patreon, where all sorts of juicy inside information is shared with you that I don't spill the beans on anywhere. Make sure you guys go there and subscribe. All the links that I just mentioned are in the description box. Now, with that all out of the way, Siege, what's crack-a-lackin', brother?
Hey, V. Good morning, man. I had a great weekend. It was pretty chill, relax, all that kind of good stuff. I hope our listeners had a great weekend. How's yours, man?
Pretty good, brother, man. Pretty good, man. I can't complain. Been a crazy. It was a good Sunday, man. I just relaxed and chilled out Sunday. Saturday was pretty busy. Then Bitcoin decided to take a dive. Sunday night, I was dealing with my client with all my peeps over on Patreon, messaging them, letting them know, let not their hearts be troubled. People, some people are like, this is it. Bitcoin is dying. And nothing could be further from the truth. One of the things I said as it was dipping close to the 6,000 bracket, I was like, here's the deal. If it holds at 63.50, we're gonna bounce back up. And wake up this morning, we're up back over 7,000. And these low points are here, folks. Why? Because there are some serious whales coming in. I knew something was up last night when I saw a great deal of money. Or in other words, USDT tokens, not USDT. It was it USDT? Yeah, it was USDT tokens that were cashed out. I knew something was going on. And there were some movements happening in the crypto market, and I was like, all right, here we go. And boom, and right on cue. But it's happening for a reason. For those that want to know what the heck is going on, it's basically you have a lot of whales. And I go into this very, very detailed in the Patreon. But there's a lot of whales that are coming in for a feeding frenzy. Look, everybody's chasing the yield. That's what it's all about. Everybody's repositioning. You're going to see some chaos. Look, the stock market is pretty much on autopilot. Okay, that thing's going to be trending up. Just like your homeboy told you back in the day when I said Dow 29,000 when we're sitting at 13 to 15,000, and everybody and every talking head out there in alt media running around scaring the crap out of people with the mainstream guys saying, and hey, it's going to go to 5,000. It's going to crash tomorrow. I was the clarion voice out there telling you, nope, it's not. And look where we are. Also, with that being said, a lot of other interesting things are happening, man. So apart from the stock market, which is going to be on overdrive from here on out, I wouldn't even bother even talking about the Dow. Any conversation about the Dow is pointless at this point. We're heading for Dow 29,000. So so just fasten your seatbelt. And also the trade deal with China will be done. It'll be done very, very, very soon. I have a little birdie has chirped on my shoulder and said this is going to get wrapped up and done very, very soon. You can expect it. So that's been pretty much it. See, it's been a crazy weekend. What about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I've been, following, certain aspects of what's going on, and everyone knows that I'm heavily involved in the hemp and cannabis industry. There's been a little bit of an exodus in terms of investment dollars rolling into that space, V, and primarily it has a lot to do with the returns on some of the bigger farms, some of the bigger investment groups that are investing in Canada a significant amount of dollars, where the concept was big farms, massive grows, and then they came back with dismal returns and profit. And so therefore there was a lot of skeptics there. A lot of funds left that actual market, where right now the market overall, the cap in terms of cannabis index stocks is significantly down. But I think it'll bounce back again, like next year. I think people are looking at the year end, shoring up their accounts, or probably maybe even getting a little cash out, maybe even unfortunately pay some taxes that will be rolling in probably next year.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting dynamics, and I completely agree in regards to the stock market. And if you're keeping your pulse on the stock market, daily, it's there are people who are significantly making money in there, but at the same time, it's a matter of being involved with it, staying tuned, and it's very easily manipulated. Everything from when either Trump sends a tweet out that, hey, the China deal's almost done, or Elon Musk says that they have 300,000 orders for their pickup truck and their stock bounces 30%. I mean, all of these things people are doing to manipulate the market, and as long as they keep pumping money into the market, it who knows how high it's going to go, V.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely, man. It's we're gonna blow past 29. We're gonna get into 30, possibly Dow 40,000. I'm not gonna call that number yet. I don't feel firm about 40K, but I see a good 35,000 point Dow as a very, very strong possibility at this point. Can my projections change over the next few weeks, over the next several months? Possibly. But right now, definitely Dow 29,000, Dow 30,000. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And everything else is all BS. I mean, I tweeted out to Elon Musk last night. It's pretty funny. One of the things I said was this. He's out there, bragging about how many pre-orders he's gotten for his ugly looking, just eyesore of a truck that every whatchamacallit, every yuppie wants to get, because now all of a sudden, because Elon makes it's the most beautiful thing. These are the same schlep rocks who will buy the same Apple iPhone year after year, line up online, wait in the freezing frigid temperature cold, just so they could buy a phone that they already have in their own pocket. It's ridiculous. But one of the things I said to Mr. Musk was this. Let me pull it up. This is it's hilarious. Okay. Where are you? Where are you? God, I wish the Twitter app was better. Finding tweets. Anyway, I said, listen, here's the deal, Musk. I basically said you guys are a carbon trading firm masquerading as a car company, and no one has figured out. No one. Look, man, if BMW, which is a privately held company, which is flush to the gills with cash and very profitable, okay. If BMW, with all their financial know-how and power at disposal, okay, this is a company that has practically very little debt, very profitable company, worth in the tens of billions. Okay, if they haven't figured out how to make money off an electric car, come on, you gonna tell me Tesla has figured it out? If they haven't done it, if Volkswagen, the largest automotive company on planet Earth, Volkswagen, who owns Audi, who owns Lamborghini, who owns Bentley, who owns Seat, who owns what else? They own Bugatti. Okay, if they own Porsche, if they haven't figured it out, and now Porsche's coming out with a Taycan, they've priced it accordingly. Okay, they priced it accordingly. They will that'll probably be the first profitable. And that's still questionable when it comes out. That'll probably be the only profitable thing, because it's going to be niche. They're not making a lot of it. They'll probably turn a little profit on the Porsche Taycans. And then you have Audi. Audi coming out with launching the e-tron, which could be hit or miss. We don't know yet. The fact of the matter remains that both cars that I just mentioned, the Audi e-tron and the Porsche Taycan, is superior to any Tesla product currently available. That is no questions asked about it. But the question remains, can they turn a profit? That is something no one has figured out. That's number one. Number two, electric cars are fickle. You living in the Northeast, you got all these yuppie soccer moms that are running around. There's, every morning, I see them, I'm dropping off the kiddo at school, and the yuppie soccer moms come in. They've upgraded from the Honda Odyssey. Now they got the Tesla Model X. They traded in the BMW X5 or the Mercedes GL and or the Acura MDX, whatever, right? And they're rolling up in the Tesla Model X with the gull wing doors that open up, right? And all the yuppie little kids get out, and they're like, so smug. They're that smug, environmentally friendly, conscious look on their face, right? The problem is, in cold, frigid temperatures, batteries don't perform as well. You're going to get less range. Okay? And the other thing is, like, see, I can't be driving around with all this range anxiety, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just can't do it. And, it's like a giant beta test, number one. Number two, the other thing is this. We're not sure if electric cars are the future. We're not sure about that because it's a fickle form of energy that is affected by temperature, by altitude, by usage. There's all these things that affect it that gasoline cars are not bothered by. When you look at dude, there are gas engines right now that are coming out getting in the 40 miles per gallon, and if you look at the miles per tank, it's astronomical as well. Very excellent range, low emissions. These are all ultra low emission vehicles. They're producing practically next to nothing in hydrocarbons. Like, what is the problem, right? The third thing is this. I firmly believe the future is hydrogen. I don't care all this electric stuff. The future is hydrogen. You can get a ridiculous amount of range out of a hydrogen car and a retarded amount of power. I mean, there's no comparison here. And hydrogen fuel cells, when you gotta refill your hydrogen car, it's like going to the gas pump. It's you're standing outside for 10, 20, 30 seconds. Your tank is filled. You keep moving. You're not plugging in your stupid Tesla and waiting around for 8 hours for the damn thing in charge. It's the most ridiculous thing, Siege. It's the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah,
but Elon and his Cybertruck. How ugly is that, dude?
Apparently there's I saw a lot of posts that people were like, oh yeah, that's cool. But you know what it is? If you're into that and you think that's the new age of what trucks are going to look like in the future, or some people are like, oh, I give them credit, so cutting edge and it's futuristic.
It requires no imagination. A child could have designed a design. There's nothing. I mean, talk about the most laziest design I've ever seen in my life. Oh, it's a polygonal shape. There's nothing about it.
Well, I think that's that's kind of like where they've landed in terms of the market, because overall, I think in terms of the 2019 overall, I don't have any statistics, hard statistics in front of me, but we know it was a very difficult year for IPOs in 2019, right? It was they were probably dismal, as far as specific years in the past. So whether it was the WeWork, Peloton, Uber, regardless, 2019 was dismal for IPOs, and I think companies are struggling to identify, well, how am I going to get that investment capital roll in? And so now you have companies doing what Tesla did and trying to get creative to boost their stock price and their investment dollars to keep the money funneling in. I mean, who knows where specifically a lot of the trading desk that's managed by the Fed, where that money is specifically going. So I think that's where we've kind of landed, is they know that 2019 IPOs were dismal. Who knows whether that'll turn around in 2020 or not? Probably not more from the tech sector or the next potential big unicorn to evolve. But I think that's where we've landed, is this fake it till you make it concept to boost stock price.
It literally is, man. It literally is. And you got these idiots who do market evaluations. They look at a company that has never made money, that's Tesla, and they say, "Oh, you're valued at 120 billion." Or Facebook, all these stupid companies that make no money. They make no money. And if this was like, if this was 20, 30 years ago, these companies would never have made it public. Never. But hey, such is the world we live in, Siege, where there's no more reality whatsoever. It's all BS. It makes me think all I should have done is come out with some outlandish concept, get a couple of Wall Street hucksters to go along with me, and I could have taken a toilet paper company public. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Well, what's the next thing for with Mr. Musk?
It could have been a green, environmentally friendly, reusable toilet paper.
Yeah, why not?
Things itself.
Why not? Reusable. That's it. That's gonna be it's 16 ply, CJ. 16 ply made from recycled sandpaper. Made from recycled sandpaper. Unreal. Hey, did you know that Bob Barr, the probably the most useless AG since Jeff Sessions. Okay. Bob Barr, and I thought the whole thing with Prince Andrew, that interview with BBC, that was just, oh my God, it was a laughing stock of an interview, CJ. That BBC and Prince Andrew interview, you saw that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dude, it was terrible.
It was terrible. He did himself no favors at all.
That guy dug himself a hole.
Yeah,
and after
no favors.
Dug himself a hole, CJ. He took 2 grenades. He unlatched the pins and jumped and threw the grenades in the hole with him. It was just terrible. Absolutely terrible, right? I mean, the guy raised more questions than anything else. Now, Barr, who somehow still thinks that this is the 1990s where or the 80s where you could say whatever the hell you want to say and get away with it, right? That guy, CJ. You know what he said? He said he saw he said he saw Jeffrey Epstein's tapes. He saw the suicide tape, and he clearly hung himself.
Is that what he said? Oh, that's right. I heard that. Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's exactly what he said. He said, Jeff Epstein hung himself. There's nothing to see here. So let me get this straight. The security cameras that conveniently broke the night that Epstein quote unquote killed himself, all of a sudden they got the tapes from it.
Nothing to see here, folks. Look the other way. We're the government, and we're going to assure you that everything's okay.
Everything's okay. And to see, people don't realize it was Bob Barr's dad that gave Epstein his first teaching job at a women's college.
Well, I knew it. I knew the Harvard gig. I knew about the Harvard gig. I didn't know about the women's college.
Oh, was it the Harvard? Maybe it was the Harvard gig. Yeah, it was Bob Barr's dad and Epstein. They have a link there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All of a sudden, let me see here. Barr, Epstein.
Well, you have to remember when that whole thing first broke that Barr went to recuse himself from any of the investigation regarding Epstein at the beginning, and when they specifically look why, because obviously was the ties to Barr's father and Epstein, and then in fact I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think that there was some firm that Barr was either a partner or some type of, or maybe sat on their board that defended Epstein, I believe in Florida. Don't quote me on that, but I do remember either reading or hearing a podcast specifically saying why he was attempting to recuse himself, because there was specific ties to his defense and Barr.
Yep, absolutely. And he says it's a perfect storm of screw-ups. Perfect storm of screw-ups.
On whose part? Oh, okay, that's great. You've identified that, but where and how and why?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
What he did was just actually fuel more, conspiracy theories. Is what specifically happened, and then the second, I guess the first round of the person that did the autopsy came back and said, no, we reviewed it. We can assure you that he hung himself, and we know now that Epstein's brother hired a different person to take a look at the actual autopsy reports and said, no, that's not what happened. It's just an unfortunate thing. Probably, be just like, JFK. It's if you think about it, Epstein was probably
Dalton School. That's where Epstein, Barr's dad got Epstein the job, the Dalton School for Girls.
Oh, okay. But, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But if you think of like history and Epstein probably by far, if you put it in this perspective, was probably the most prolific, child molester in the history period. And to think that the number of connections and how it went down, that they want us to have this as, okay, here it is. He committed suicide, and we're done with it. We're not going to move any forward. And we know the powerful people that were involved with it, and it's such a shame, and it's kind of caution to me. I'm just kind of monitoring this whole Biden and Ukraine thing, and now there's even more information coming out. And I just hope that they're not going to offer Biden up as a sacrificial lamb to some type of justice. And I have a funny suspicion that's where kind of like they're navigating to, is because they didn't want him running for office, to begin with. And with all this information coming out regarding the Ukraine and his son, I have a feeling they're setting Biden up to be kind of like the fall guy of the deep state. And Biden has been very vocal about threats. He threatened Lindsey Graham the other day and said, Lindsey, you don't want to do this to your career, because if I come out, so Biden has balls. I give him credit for that. He's not afraid to come out and say what he thinks. Half the time it's wrong. Mm-hmm. But needless to say, he made threats at John Kerry that, look, you pursue an investigation with me, bud. You don't know what you put yourself into. You're going to regret even coming out with that, because Biden knows he'll spill the beans. So whether
what's Biden going to do against Lindsey? He's going to out Lindsey as a gay guy, which we all know Lindsey's gay.
Well, in part, think of the whole dilemma that went down with Syria and ISIS. How involved was Lindsey Graham with John McCain during that time period? I guarantee you that Obama and Biden knew about that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
As far as the coordination and everything. And, I know that, Giuliani's feeling a little bit threatened as well. I listened to an interview with him, and, he specifically mapped out and said, look, I don't know what, I guess there was an associate, an attorney, or a partner that was arrested of Giuliani's. And I don't have all the details, so I apologize for that. And so they were specifically asking him questions as to some of the things that individual arrested was saying about Giuliani. And he's like, I'm not sure why in the world he's saying these things. There's not true. I don't have any type of business dealings with Ukraine or nothing or anything like that. He goes, and then the question was asked, well, what if Trump turns against you? What if Trump, allows them to prosecute you and go after you? And he said something during that time period. Now he came back and corrected himself to a certain extent. He said, don't worry about that. I've got my insurance policy. And he stated that at least twice. And so they pressed him on later on. He said, what I meant to say, or correction, is that if anything happens to me, if there's any attempt on my life or anything like that, and he said, you know what, I've handled the mafia before. These guys don't scare me. I've got my insurance policy. And then he later on said that insurance policy isn't on Trump. It's on documents that I have in regards to Biden and his entire time in office, and the amount of deals and corruption and everything. It would be interesting to see why Giuliani has such a hard on for Biden. I'm
sure they have this guy dead to rights at this point. I mean, there's a criminal investigation that's happening. There was a recent paternity test that was done by some young girl in Arkansas. Found out that Hunter Biden is the father of this child, all the while that he was dating his dead brother's widow. Which it's just a weirdo, man. This guy's like a crackhead. It's just an absolute recluse, just a nut job. It's ridiculous.
But couldn't you see, like, if you think of all the powerful players in that group, right? So think of Obama, think of the Bush family, the Clinton family. Think of that entire family and the people that are involved, with those things, and then look at Biden. Wouldn't he be an easy target to offer as a sacrificial lamb? It would be so easy, right? I mean,
it would be, but then you'd run the risk of him squealing, because it's like McCain. Biden is just like McCain. This is a guy who's been in the system for so long. He knows where the bodies are buried. You know what I'm saying? He knows where the skeletons are. So is he? I mean, look, man. I don't know. I mean, you want to make him a sacrificial? I'm not so sure. Did you hear about that IG report that's coming out? Supposedly,
I did. December 3rd or 13th, something like that.
Something like that. 9th, I think it is. Right.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing with it, Siege. The funny thing is this: supposedly all the low-level minions are going to get in trouble, all the head guys are going to walk away scot-free. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
But it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that's what they're going to attempt to do. The low-lying fruit, absolutely.
Yeah,
because the other ones are they're protected class. That we have a two-part or two-level justice system in the United States, and there time after time again you can point this out, right? I mean, how many examples can you give? J.P. Morgan, the amount of crimes that they were involved with, and no one went to jail for those high crimes, right? Yep. Think of the gun running in Mexico, during that time period. No one went to jail. The email server, that's still low-lying fruit that easily could be gone after and reopen that investigation. No one went to jail. So they're going to go after these low-lying either attorneys or people who help facilitate the paperwork. And they probably delegated that out to begin with just to keep their hands free and clear of it. And if they don't do that, if they don't offer up the low-lying fruit, then they're going to break it down to a procedural thing and say, well, you know what, procedurally they screwed up, but there's no crime here. Procedurally, it's bad. And that's what these people do. They collaborate with each other to determine where they're willing to offer up as far as their ties and move things forward, and then they join hands and walk on together in the sunset. I mean, it happens time and time again, and it's just very disheartening to be witnessing. But I'm hoping that something comes about that IG report in December from Horowitz. I mean, we've been told these things numerous times, time again. It's just kind of false hope at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's gotten to the point where it's just if the IG report comes up and no heads roll, then what's the point? Does this whole Q thing fizzle away? Siege? Does it? Can we finally lay to rest, or does it keep going?
Well, look, I get the idea that people want to have hope and people want to believe, but that same type of hope is the same type of hope that people thought that Obama would deliver, right? The hope and change and so when you're connected to that hopium, constantly, and I firmly believe, and I've reiterated this numerous times in regards to, I think, that entire narrative regarding, keep waiting, that all these things are happening behind the scene, built a certain level of complacency that led to the loss of the House of Representatives, because I think in part people were idly, thinking all this stuff was going on in the background. There's, trust the plan, and it led a significant amount of people to just idly watch these things happen. And now here we are, 3.5 years later, going into the fourth year, and we're asked that, it's all going to happen in his next term. Oh gosh. So what happens if we go the next term and nothing happens? And that's a realization that I think I would really want the entire Q movement to understand, is that unless we're willing for Trump to do what Putin did and Xi with what kind of
actually jailing people, actually going
not jailing people, just becoming a forever president, right?
Yeah,
like where they change the rules. So even if you get to that stage of it, you're only talking, four more years. So if you're benchmarking what got accomplished in the 3.5 years, how much more is going to get accomplished the next 4 years? And then the scary part is, who backfills? Where's the vacuum? Who fills that? Mike Pence? Are you kidding me? So I think that's the realization that people have to come to, is that, okay, fine. You know what? There's going to be arrests. Things are going to happen. There's 4 more years. What's going to happen? Are we going to blanket allow to change the rules and say, you know what, we're going to change the rules and allow people to be president for 4 terms or even more? I don't know, V. That's I think that's the question that we have to be looking at, because at the end of the day, Trump can't stay in office forever. So who are we looking at in 5 years when this is all said and done? If Trump wins election, that's going to be there to fill that void. Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner
coming to the rescue.
Jared Kushner,
yes. Javanka. That's coming. Jared and Ivanka. They're gonna come. They're going to save us all, bro. Look, here's what's coming to the rescue. And I keep hammering this to people over and over again. At the end of the day, Donald Trump, as awesome as he is, okay, is going to be limited in what he can do. At the end of the day, what he does do for us is hold back the flood. He's like the boy, that old story, the boy in the dike, okay, where there's a crack on the dike and it's coming in, and the boy plugs it with his fingers and this, that, and the other, right? So it's the same thing. So we have a good solid 5 years, okay, a good solid 5 years. The only economic pulse that you have that's worth of anything, that if you know how to exploit it, you can make yourself a crap load of money, is the market. Okay, you have the market, and there are some companies that are built around that are doing quite well. So you have a little bit of an economic boom. Take advantage of it. Either develop a secondary stream of income.
Did I lose you? I think I may have lost V for a second. Yeah, so it's no, V's still in here. I think I'm looking. I see me. V has dropped for a moment. Let's give him a few minutes and see if he comes back into it. But I think the conversation where V was going with it is the fact that I've had this discussion before with family and friends, and I think that is true as far as holding back the complete takeover, and some of these radical rules that we're hearing about with the Democratic Party wanting to move these things forward with their social equality programs, with their continued push of building this one big inclusive society that we have to accept terms of all things, and then indoctrinate people to believe those things. And so for this time period, I think that's what is held off. So it is time to, if you will, do a little bit of a gut check and to assess some things of where you are in your personal finances, where you are with your family, whether you're making amends with family members that have either hurt you in the past and everything, and to move forward. I think that's where humanity is going. There's so many variables that are out of our control, and I think it's that time to focus on what we do control. And what we do control is specifically our households, what we're doing with our time, who we're associating with, people that bring us up, that don't continuously beat us down, and at the same point trying to remain optimistic for all things. So I think we're still on the air right now live. But this is CJ. V I think maybe having some internet connection issues, and I don't have a way of ending the stream on my end. So let's give it just a few minutes and see if he comes back in. If someone in the chat room could let me know if I'm still live or not. I don't know if I am or not. I'll wait for a minute to see if we can get a response in the chat room. Is there anyone in the chat room that's still picking me up live? Okay, still live. All right, thank you for that. So I'm going to give V just a quick call and see if he's going to come in and wrap it up. But I have a feeling his internet went out. And again, we're heading into a very interesting time period. The last thing I want to cover is it's going to be a very interesting dynamic with Bloomberg jumping into the race to see what he's going to establish. Is he going to pull some support from Trump, or is he how's he going to change the race a little bit? And I think that's what his motive is. And give me just 1 second. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. This is CJ and V. I apologize for the technical difficulty. And please like, subscribe, and share. And we appreciate you tuning in. This is V and CJ, and we're over and out. Take care of everyone.
All right, I'm back. I guess Siege had to drop off. Anyway, folks, it is what it is. I think he probably covered all of it. I'll just text him. Jumped back in. Thank you all for listening in. And again, subscribe, like, comment, share. We'll be back tomorrow. Also at 12 o'clock, folks, we got Harley Schlanger coming in at 12. So make sure that you guys check it out. Okay? Cheers.